This is why I didn't go there, honestly, because I don't want it to sound self-serving, because like we just talked about earlier, there's a lot of work that I will continue to do. But I've told you that like every time I feel like I'm sitting in front of someone, everyone, I know that what I look like as a white, cis, hetero male represents pain for almost everybody. I try to hold space for that and try to hold space for the privilege that I have and try to use that. And I think you have to recognize that in order to do that. But by saying, oh, people might not know that I've done the work, that feels like a douchey thing to say.
I know what you mean.
You know? Yeah. And so you're having tears.
I am, because you're just such a wonderful human.
I mean, we're talking about how I represent pain.
But what you're saying is so fucking empathetic. You have such a tenderness in your heart, and you don't just carry it around. You give it freely and openly, and you are so spacious and gracious where you can sympathize and understand that you're like, I know what someone like me can represent. And if you want to have any sort of relationship with me, I'm here for the time that it takes for you to feel safe.
Absolutely.
And to trust me. And
yeah,
that is why, like, I'm sitting here verklempt, because you're such a gorgeous human.
Well, safety and trust, they're not a right. Especially when somebody looks like me, I have to show you that you can trust me. I have to show you that I can hold space for that. And like, people shouldn't look at me by default and go, I'm going to trust this white bald man, right? There's been all sorts of things that would lead to everything in me says not to trust this person. And so if I ignore that, then I'm ignoring people in front of me. We've talked about that in the past, right? Like how like you were right to have your guard up by me. Right? You didn't know me. I was no different to you at that point, right? And so the fact that sometimes I think we have to acknowledge what we represent to people in order to show that maybe we're not that, in order to see the whole systemic
right
person,
and the
goal, holistic idea
and the
of the
goal
person.
Isn't to prove something
not at all.
else, because then that's a self motive.
No, I'm just trying to be a safe person.
Right. The
Trying
goal
to love
is
the person in front of me, and I can't do that if I don't see the person in front of me.
exactly.